Do we have, Benita? Do we have the song "Precious Memory" in the Red Book? Precious memories. Yeah, yeah. 390. Okay. All righty. Want to say good Wednesday evening. Yeah, it's been a little chilly for us, but God's been good to us, and we're not going to let a little chill keep us from God's word. And I'm thankful that we are here, that I can be here, and Sister Jenny and Brother Glenn uh, online here. And who else is on there? Oh, that's you, Dorothy. You still on there? Oh, I think so. It was like a pew or something right there. Is that you? The pew where the pew is? I don't know. Oh, that's Annie. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's Annie. So we got. Oh, okay. Okay. So we got Jenny. Yeah, yeah. So we got Jenny, brother Glenn, and Annie online. It just takes a minute to make sure all the family um, across the area is on with us, so we can get into our studies tonight. We're going to sing a verse of 397. 397. I know Jenny remembered 397, don't you, Jenny? Precious memories. Precious memories. Yeah, yeah. We haven't sung it in the age. I know we haven't sung it in the age, but it was always a touching song that always touched my heart. And it was sung. It's a favorite song of what we used to call the old saints. Now we old saints, as we can say of the old saints. Uh, we 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 have joined that number, and the song is just as powerful to us today as it was to them then. Um, so if everybody have 397, say amen. Let's see if I can still remember how it goes. Precious memories, unseen angels sent from somewhere to my soul. How they linger ever near me, and his special past unfold. There's the tone. Precious memories, how they linger, how they ever flood so in the stillness of the midnight, precious sacred scene unfold. Let's try number 3. In the stillness of the midnight, echoes from the past I hear. Saints are singing, brethren bringing lessons from the book so dear. Precious memories, how they linger, oh, how they floods my soul. In the stillness of the midnight, precious sacred scene unfold. Yeah, that's been a long time, but it still touched my heart. I sit there and I hear that song and I think about the saints of old, how I used to sit by mama and like Leroy and Brenda sitting there with the little ones and making them be attentive. See, back then I couldn't appreciate what I know now. So I thank God for that. We're gonna ask Brother Glenn. Yes.
When I hear that song, I think about all the things that gone home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. They keep us connected. I ask Brother Glenn to lead us in a word of prayer, and we'll get into our study for the evening. You there, Brother Glenn? You on mute? You got to come off mute.
Yeah, hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come thanking you for the many blessings Lord upon us today. We thank you, Father, for keeping us in good health, Father, and strength. We ask, Father, to continue to be with us and guide us, Father. Be with the sick ones, Father, here and all over the land, Father. Help them return to their normal portion of health. Be with the ones that lost their loved one, Father. Help them to understand that your will must be done.
Yes, Father.
Continue, Father, be with Brother Cyrus. He break to us the bread of life. Be with us, Father, Carolina Avenue Church of Christ, Father, that we continue to strive to do that and draw souls to thee, Father. Be with us now in this study and guide us and direct us, Father. These and all things, like in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Glenn. As we're continuing our study on page 47 of lesson number 9, the God who's willing to forgive. We started out in number 1 by looking at the sovereignty of God. You have to recognize God's sovereignty to appreciate who he is. And a lot of people in the world, they misunderstand God's sovereignty because they say God is love. But they don't realize that God is everything. He's love, but he's also a terrible God. Just ask Noah's family after they looked across the destruction of the destruction of the world from the flood. I'm sure they didn't feel a deep abiding love from God, but they felt the strong chastisement of God's power upon humanity. And then just look at what Israel saw when the people in their own camp distrusted God, and God let all that nation that came out of Egypt, the majority of them all died except for Joshua and Caleb. And so to say that God just a loving God and he's just going to tolerate anything, that's not God. God is a sovereign God, and he is to be respected. He is to be revered. He is to be worshiped and served. And so when we appreciate who God is, then we can understand when God decides to show compassion, it means something, because it tells us that God didn't have to do it, but out of his great mercy and grace towards us, he gave us a gift. And so when we see God through those lenses, we can appreciate who God is. And then we can receive the gift that God gives us and know that it's a gift. And when you get a gift like that, it's not a gift that you misuse. When we're kids, sometimes you see kids get gifts, and they play with it for a little while and they throw it down. And now it's just laying around in the corner, it kicked all over the place, and in no time, they either give it away or it's out on a trash heap somewhere. God's gift ain't like that kind of gift. The kind of gift that God gives is the kind of gift you want to keep close to the heart. A gift that you highly value among everything else. It's a treasure. And so then when you see that God is so good to be able to give that to you, and what God has allowed to happen to others who are outside of his covenant, will you see that God has a forgiving nature toward those of his own. And we learn that from God. God loves his own. But if you be not of God, and you belong to the world, God does not make promises to people that don't belong to him. He gives gifts, but he don't make promises to them. And that's what we know when he says he blesses the rain on the just and the unjust. God gives gifts. but he doesn't mandate anything from us. But we do it because we know how be without God, and we trust God because we know if without Him, we could do nothing. You know, so we know that we don't live. God give us a bit of wisdom, so we don't live in ignorance. We know the goodness of God. We can appreciate what He does when He forgives us when we go wrong. And I just remember Sunday morning class when Brother Jess was mentioning about how good God was to Adam and Eve when He put them out of the garden. He could have destroyed humanity right then. There would have been no more humans on the planet. God could have, all He had to do was wipe out 2 people, and it would have been all over. But God showed great mercy to say, well, within them is the seed of the world. And everything that will ever live is between those 2 human beings. If I take them, I wipe everybody out. There would be no Brother Norris. There would be no Sister Dorothy. There would be no Sister Jenny. We all been gone. But God showed great mercy. And then we see the power of God in when He disciplines. He takes Adam and Eve, and He takes them out of the garden, and He puts a cherubim up where they can't get back to what they love. They love living in the garden. God gave them a perfect home, but God took the house away from them. You know, and God made them lose they lost their home in paradise. And I can tell you, even in this world now, it's not easy to lose a home. When I lost my job and our house went into foreclosure, I was all the way kind of feeling crazy and angry, and I had every kind of emotion you can imagine on the Richter scale, you know, and I was defiant that they couldn't take my house away. And one day Grady Judge showed up with his fellows, and they took all my stuff out the house and put it aside the road. And I was telling y'all can't do this. It ain't right. Y'all can't just take my house. You know, yeah, I'm struggling. I ain't got a job. They didn't want to hear none of that. So I know what it feels like to lose something that's precious to you. But Adam and Eve lost that. God took that from them. And then when Cain came and he did wrong, God told Cain, He said, Cain, what's going on with you? Why are you constant? What's your problem? God took the time to talk with his son, Cain. He took the time and explained to Cain, you're headed for trouble. And if you go down this road, you're going to find trouble. Sin lies at the door. And if you step out in it, then I got to deal with you like a father to a child. I got to chastise you. Now Cain had a chance to avoid God's chastisement, but he was mad, like we get mad. Anybody ever got mad when they were young, want to stump out the house? You know, I'm tired of y'all telling me what to do. You know? Yes, Jesse. Yeah. Our parents know when we out of sort, and then we get huffing, our chest rise up there, and we're defiant because something happened that we didn't like. And I learned from that in my own household. When I was little, like my little man here, Nas, I was little like him, and I learned a valuable lesson. My big brother stepped in front of my daddy. My brother, like 14 years older than me, stepped in front of my daddy, told my daddy, I'm a man. He said, I'm tired of you taking my money. I'm going to field and work. I'm tired of you taking my money. I'm a man. Dad said, so you're a man, huh? My sister Jenny, my brother rose up. He said, yeah, I'm a man. You know what my dad did? My dad stepped back and hit him dead in the chest. Bam! And he fell straight to his knee like a rock. Boom! Dad said, so you're a man now. My brother, they say, you the man. You the man. And what it taught us was, be careful how you approach your father. Daddy gonna be daddy always. He ain't gonna never stop being daddy. He had you. He ain't gonna never stop being daddy. And when he feels it's time to discipline you, chastise you, he gonna chastise you. So God chastised Cain. So Cain had to learn that God was at a place where He was willing to forgive Cain for having the wrong attitude. God was gonna forgive him for his wrong attitude, but when Cain stepped across that line and killed his brother, that changed everything. Now God, righteous indignation falls on all of us. And the Bible says, for we all have sinned. We all have come short. We all was in Cain's place. So God then He forgives us, doesn't He? He has shown great forgiveness towards us. And so when we look at page 47, when we look at page 47, I want to go down here where it says, God has a forgiving nature. Can somebody read that section for us? God's forgiving nature. We're on page 47. Uh, well, they can hear you.
Okay. As children of God, we should never lose sight that forgiveness is a gift from God. Let us bear in mind that the parable of the king and the unforgiven servant reveals three things about forgiveness: the debt, the injury from the debt, and the cancellation of the debt. And in the parable, Jesus points out that the servant owned a debt. No, that the servant, owned a,
Yeah, oh.
owned a debt. And the king suffered a loss. And the debt was canceled by the king because he knew it was impossible for the servant to repay him. Therefore, he had compassion on him and simply forgave him. What an awesome testimony about God.
The psalmist.
The psalmist wrote, "For you, Lord, are good and ready to forgive, and abundant in mercy to all who call upon you." Psalms 86:5. We serve a God who is ready to forgive us for every sin we have ever committed.
Have you ever felt like you've been bad before? Have you ever felt like you've been really bad? You've done something really bad, and it's a self critique of yourself. Man, I've been bad. I really shouldn't have done that. I am bad. And you even can question yourself as to your worthiness of God's forgiveness. You know how bad it made you feel. You felt to the point that, I don't, maybe I just can't see how God forgive me of this. I shouldn't have did it, especially when you see the hurt that it caused. Then you really know you've done bad. You really went too far. Well, with this, how you think this man here feels when he comes to his servant? And how do you think that servant feel when he took his master's goods? And whatever he did with it, he wasn't fruitful enough to be able to repay it. Yes, he feel bad because he wasn't able to repay it. Have you ever got something from somebody and you said, well, I know I promised, but I'm just not able to get it back to him right now? You know you promised. I need to borrow this, and I promise you I'm going to pay you back in a week, 2 weeks, a month. I'm going to start paying you back, You have every, Jenny?
Something always come up.
Yeah, something always come up, and you always fall short, right? And before you know it, so much time done pass that you could even feel so guilty you start avoiding people. Everybody ever avoided people after they got to that place? Have you ever avoided the bill collector? They call on the phone and you tell the kids, tell them your mom ain't home. Tell them whatever. Cause that feeling is so gripping that, sin seems like a light thing in order to save yourself from that position. But then when you got to come face to face with all of that, and you got to stand before your lender, the giver, and you got to come clean because the giver demands an answer. And you say, I had every intention just to pay you, but I just ain't got it. I just ain't got it. And you start pleading for some more time. Can I get a little more time? Anybody ever ask for an extension on a phone bill, on a cell phone bill, on a cable bill? Anybody ever ask for an extension? You tell those people, North, what do you tell them when you ask for an extension? That's it. So we have a particular demeanor when we know that we in that state when we go before the giver. And Brother Norris said we know to humble ourselves. We know not to go in there all puffed up and fussing and carrying on. You know, and start yelling out, you ain't giving me no time. No, we don't even try that. Because we know, because when we know we wrong, we wrong. And so we know how to humble ourselves. And so this man comes to his master, and the master get ready to settle his debt. Can you just see the anguish that's on that servant's face? He owed, now the text says he owed him 10,000 talents. Today, that's equivalent to like $100 million. $100 million is nothing to sneeze at, is it? He had a considerable amount of money, but he did not have the means to pay. Now the servant, so he falls down. He falls down at his master's feet. And his master, the text says master shows him what? It shows him pity, compassion. What does that mean? To show somebody compassion. Huh? He had mercy on him. He showed him what he did not deserve. He didn't deserve mercy. Why? Because he had the power to reject it, he had the power to take it. And in his power, he took it. And in his power, he told the man he'll make good on it. He put himself in that position. But the master, in turn, looks at this pitiful man and had mercy on him. Fast forward to us. Have anybody ever owed you that didn't pay you and you still feel some kind of way about it? Say that, wait a minute now. Say that again, Sister Jenny.
I said a thing with us when if we owe somebody and they come to us ask for it, we'll get an attitude.
Yeah. And Brother Norris said that, you know, you can forgive them, but you don't forget it. And what did you say, Sister Dorothy? Sister Dorothy said, forgive them, forget about it. But many times we say, no. We said, now you're going to give me my money, huh?
You forgive them, forget about it, but you don't do it again.
Did y'all hear Sister Jenny? Jenny said you forgive them, forget about it, but you don't do it again. But how does that look? If I forgive you and I say I forget about it, and then you have a need, again, to borrow some money. Yes, Sister Annette. Yeah. So you got to say no sometimes. Yeah.
Because you know what? They're gonna keep taking advantage of you because they think, okay, they don't forgive me. They don't forgive me one time, so I'm gonna see what I have next time. You got to learn to say no sometimes.
So you think they'll take? So you think they'll take us for being a sucker? That we'll sucker. They can lick on our lollipop long as they want to, and we'll just let them get all the sweetness out of us. They take all the sugar out of us when we let them, huh? They take the sugar out the cake, huh? But the thing is, you know, looking at the text, the man, he showed the servant mercy. But look at the servant. These are two men. One had power over another, and that one had power over another. Isn't that interesting? How everybody has some power. It's how we use that power, how we demonstrate the power we have over another. So the one that was owed the most showed the greatest mercy, and the one that was owed the least showed no mercy. Now what did the servant do to his fellow servant? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the text said he went and grabbed that servant and by the neck You know, he laid hands on him. Some people say they want to get. I don't want nobody laying hands on me like that. You know, he really laid hands on him, Brother Leroy. When somebody grabbed you by the neck, if somebody grabbed Jesse by the neck, would that send a message to Jesse some kind of way? You know, would Jesse get the point if somebody grabbed him by the neck? Yeah. And so you're gonna be well alert, right? And when they got you by the neck, what you're saying to yourself, they mean what? That's how would you say? What's it? You say, Leroy? You better, Darwin, what you say? Yeah. This man have hurtful intent. And whatever it takes for him to get his money, he's willing to hurt somebody to get his money. And so he don't have any of those qualities that the man that forgave him have. He's void of that. And it makes you wonder, how could he be void of that quality? He's seen it displayed on his behalf. It wasn't that he had never seen anybody forgive. He had it personally done to him. He had a perfect example. But instead of imitating that perfect example, he threw that out the window and said, there's a perfect example, but I'm going to do it another way. Now, does not God shows us what God, the Bible says God is perfect and his judgment is perfect? Now, God shows us a perfect way. But when we decide that now I'm going to reject what God say and I'm going to do it this way, what are we doing? Yeah, we're taking it into our own hand.
Also, he knows that we are not perfect, and then by being born into sin nature, so it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Born into sin nature, so instead of thinking positive, you're going to think negative.
Yeah. But this is also to tell that God gives all of us a chance, right? We all get a chance. And that's a good thing. That's the wonderful thing about God. God is a God that gives a chance, give you a chance. Somebody put it, God is a God of a second chance. Because we messed up, the first time we messed up what put us in the situation where we need a second chance. And so God gave him, his Lord gave him a second chance. But he took that chance and he threw it away. And he went about doing it his way. And sometimes, can you see how we as Christians can take this wonderful chance that God has given us for salvation, and we don't appreciate what God has done, the gift that God has given us. And we'll misuse that gift, discount that gift, and go right on back doing what we always did. Or maybe even do worse. Like Doc said, I know I can get forgiveness. So I'm going to do it again. Like Jenny said, I know I can get forgiveness, so I'm going to do it again and again and again. And you just keep on doing it because you know, well, I can get away with it because I could do it again, and I could get forgiveness again. I can get forgiveness again. And I think Jesse is in Romans. Where's that in Romans where Paul talks about grace? That should we continue in sin? Yeah, he said because God forgives us, he said we shouldn't keep doing it over and over again. You know, this man Lord forgave him. He should not have went out and did what he did to his fellow servant. He turns around again and do it to his own fellow servant. And so Paul said, because God has forgiven us, you know, should we continue in sin that grace may abound? He said, yeah, what should we say then? Yeah, are we to continue in sin that grace may abound? By no means. How can we that are dead to sin still live? What was that, Romans what? Yeah, where you at, Romans what? Romans 6:1. Everybody looking for it, that's Romans 6:1. So Paul is saying that, hey, the gift that God has given us is not to be abused. Isn't that what he's saying? How should we who are dead to sin live any longer therein? In other words, how should we whose debt has been settled go back and open up another debt to do the same thing again? You know, it doesn't make good sense. But people will do that because sometimes people are just, they're addicted to something. And I can tell you a perfect place to see that is in a casino. people are going to get what they get called a note on the casino. If you've been at the casino and you have a good reputation, they give you what's called a note. In other words, we'll give you some more money. Even though you're in debt to us, if you come back and ask us, we'll give you some more money. And we'll give you some more money until your debt is so great it's impossible for you to pay it. Then they come and they file suit against you, come take your house away, come take your car away, because the casino gonna get their money. But they allow you to be the one to do it over. Now you know you shouldn't do it because you know you need a roof on your head. You know you need that car to get to work. But you sacrifice all of that, thinking that, well, they're gonna let me do it and eventually I'm gonna be able to pay it. And that's what the servant thought, that the $100 million he got from his Lord, well, I got the money and eventually I'll be able to pay it. But happenstance was he was not able to pay it. Even the servant he went to was not able to pay him. And when he got that servant recognizing what happens, the cruel punishment one gets for not paying, he didn't have no mercy. He cast that man into prison with his family. See, in the old time, you and your whole family went into prison. And you and your whole family labored, and the money, you became slaves to somebody until you made enough money to pay that man off. Or until you worked till you died and cut, and he just settled your debt and say, okay, I got to settle for what I got. That's a horrible way to end your life in slavery, trying to pay somebody back. So his master was good to him. And he knew the goodness of his master. He lived in the society. He knew what was going on. Then he turns around and he goes to Jesse and say, Jesse, I don't care. You're going to give me mine. And have the police come and get Jesse's whole family, and he take all of Jesse's property, and it becomes his property. Now Jesse's in this work prison trying to work off what he owed this man. That man showed no resemblance to what his master was like. And he knew his master, but he showed no resemblance that he had any of the characteristics of his master. Everybody serves somebody, and they look to you to have something, you've learned something from them. Everybody, when you're a supervisor on a job, your superior expect you to train your subordinates, and your subordinates are supposed to look like you. They're supposed to become as proficient as you. That's why they made you the supervisor. They saw a quality in you that they wanted you to give to somebody else. And so when you train that person and you train them well, then when you're not there, you know the job's going to get done because this person is well trained and they're trustworthy. It may be hard to find somebody like that. And see, like when Jesse worked at where you work at now, sometimes you get a newbie there, right? And I say, where you work at now, sometimes you get a new person there, right? I call them newbies. And they'll bring them somebody like Jesse, say, Jesse, show them the ropes. And they expect Jesse to show them. And then when Jesse's not there, they expect them to perform like Jesse would perform. Why? Because Jesse's the one that trained them. Yeah. See, and there are Norris. They'll say, okay, Norris, you work for the city, and you're one of our best workers. You're one of the leaders. We want you to take this person. We want you to train them. We want to see them be able to function as good as you. Now, when Norris take this person on his wing, now Norris' reputation is also at stake. His ability to impart to this person those qualities. And so when that man failed to do what he was supposed to do, guess what? He brought his own masters. His own masters, he brought him under subjection. His quality of character. Why did that servant do that? Is that what his master liked? Even Jesus, remember people looked at Jesus' disciples and they thought that for them to be evil because Jesus, they had pronounced Jesus to be evil, so they looking at them to be evil. And they doing righteousness. So because they were doing righteousness, they couldn't put on them a false charge. And so even when Jesus died and left them, when you read the book of Acts, right? And you see they kept going after Peter Judge, and somebody said they took notice of them that they had been with who? They had been with Jesus. It said they took notice of these men. There was something about their character, something about what they were doing that made them think about Jesus. These men was acting like Jesus. They had his character. So for this servant to turn around and do something that was out of character for his own master, it come back as a disgrace towards his own master. Now, if you the master of me and I disgrace you, and I got to come back to you, how you gonna treat me now? Are you gonna show me the same favor you showed me the first time? No, I'm sorry, man. I just, I just got caught up, and man, I knew how good you was to me, and I just couldn't stand this man having the money and not giving it to us so I could give you your money back. I'm just trying to get your money back. Now, you done already forgave me, so you ain't going to accept the argument because my debt had been forgiven. But now I'm trying to bring it back to you and say, I didn't believe your debt. I didn't believe you actually forgave me of my debt. That's what I'm going to throw you because I need some more compassion from you. So the devil tell him that you just didn't believe. He really forgave you your debt. And so you was trying to make good on it anyhow. You can't go back when something is, once it's done, once you got the money gone, got it and spent it and it's gone, can you go back and get it? Yeah, you got to borrow it again. I see folks go to Amscott. Anybody, y'all don't know about Amscott. I know it's in town, but I know none of y'all never go there. I know I have to go there from time to time, but I know ain't none of the church members. I know none of my church members go to Amscott. Y'all take 4 away from Amscott. Yeah, Amscott. What you say, Sister Jenny?
I go there sometime too.
Okay, so then Brother Sykes said, see, I go there and I tell them, I'm good for it. I'm good for it. They say, yeah, you better be good for it because you got this amount of time to bring it back. And them folks ain't scared. They ain't scared to send you a notice. Yeah, we wait for our money. Yeah. Put their mind out there, and if they gotta put a lien on you, they put a lien on you because that's how they operate. So as a servant, I make my master Norris look bad. When I go and get his stuff, and then he forgive me of it, then I go out and act silly about it, and somebody say act the fool, and now he done caught me, and he bring me back in to question me what I did to my fellow servant, and I said, well, I didn't mean to choke Jesse like that, but Jesse was he wasn't moving fast enough, and I knew if I put some pressure on Jesse, he would give it up. So I'm out here, I got Jesse by the neck and I'm choking him, because that's what the text say. That servant grabbed his fellow servant. He grabbed him by the neck. Jesse, what happened if I grabbed you by the neck? But you owe me. You owe me though. You can try to pay me. You can borrow from somebody. So you can borrow from Jenny. He said, Jenny, give me some money, Jenny. Yeah, Jenny said he borrow from you. Say you know he been good for it. You ought to see her expression. But that's the situation we find ourselves in. We don't realize that the world definitely don't know the magnitude of God's gift for forgiveness, but we do. So since we know, we shouldn't have a problem being like what Jesus told Peter. Peter, how many times should I forgive that crazy brother of mine? Every time I turn around, he's always doing me wrong. I can't trust him. I can't trust him I can't trust him with dirt on my hand. He's gonna do me wrong. If I ask him just give me some water, it's gonna be something about him that he ain't gonna do right. How many times? I forgave him 7 times, Lord. That's good, ain't it? 7 times. Because the number 7 means what? 7 means complete. In the Jewish numerology, 7, 12, numbers like that are complete numbers. You see the 12 crowns or the 7 angels or the 7 thunders. All of these numbers mean something. And the 6, incomplete. So those numbers mean something. So that's why Peter said, I forgive him 7 times. Isn't that a good time? That's good. That's complete. And so the Jews said, I ain't telling you that, Peter, but 7 is good. But just multiply that. Yeah, just keep on multiplying that 7 by 7 by 7 by 7 by 7. What you say, Sir Jenny?
It don't mean 714. It means 7 times 7, 49.
Yeah, just on and on and on, because we as Christians understand the magnitude, what it took for God to forgive us. We ought to all be dead and in our grave. Like God did the first world and destroyed the world with the flood. Did we deserve anything less? We were doing the same thing they were doing. The Bible said they were celebrating, they were marrying, they were being given in marriage, and they figured they had time. They had never seen this kind of catastrophic thing happen in the earth. Nobody seen no flood because it had never rained on the earth. The earth was one solid mass. There was never an earthquake, but when that day came, the Bible said the foundations of the deep broke. What that meant, there was mighty earthquakes. The land mass broke apart. The continents were breaking apart. And as the continents were breaking apart, the fountain of waters began to come up. Then God said, I'm going to put rain in the heaven, and the rain came down. People say, how could the world flood? Because when you push water up and rain come down, and when that landmass go out, it creates a tsunami coming back, right? A deluge come back in. People, it's impossible. No, it's not impossible. Yeah. When the ground gets saturated, water ain't going to seep down in the ground. It's just going to be the deluge is going to sit there. Like, I ran down the road there, I said, oh, it looks cold, but the water's still standing in the ditches. That's because when God does something, it turns out just like he said. So this man master was wroth with him because he did what he should not have done. and he punished him for it. So we know that as Christians, when we know what we ought to do and we do it not, James said to us is sin. So we have a greater accountability, don't we? To be able to understand the magnitude of God's forgiveness, the forgiving nature of God. And we're supposed to be the children of God. I think that's 2 Corinthians 6, where God says, come out from among them and test not the unclean things, and I'll be a father to you. You should be my sons and daughters, says the Almighty. So God said, I'll be a father to you, but you can't be out here like the world. You got to leave that stuff alone and be like me. Be ye holy, for I am holy. What does that mean? What is the idea of being holy? What does that mean? Do anybody know what it look like? Can anybody describe living holy? What Bible can you describe a Bible character that you would perceive as being holy? Job was holy. So Jenny said Job. She sees Job as a holy man. Do y'all agree? Yeah. Moses. You see Moses as a holy man. Okay. You see Jesus as a holy man, right? So those men was holy. You know, they did, yeah, they did right by God. There's all the prophets, you know, they were holy men. Yeah, Paul, he was a holy man. So we see that there are characters in the Bible that we read about and tell you what they did, that they was holy. You know, but one person I don't hear y'all saying that y'all saw him as a holy man. It was David. The Bible said that, but the Bible said that David was the apple of God's eye, though. Was the apple of God's eye. But y'all, I was about to say, oh, he's holy, but now he did some really tough stuff, you know. Yeah, he repented.
David was a man of war.
Yeah, he was a man, but so was Moses.
Well, yeah, but David.
Yeah, I know sometimes you just say, well, wait a minute, what just really shines different than the other? But when it comes to doing wrong, in God's sight, sin is sin. There's no big sin, little sin. So Moses sinned, and God told him you can't go into the promised land. David sinned, God told him that child you birth with Bathsheba going to die. So God deals with them in their sin. And so we all look the same to God when God removes the sin from our lives. We all then presented as being righteous, just, and holy. And God is saying, remain this way. Remain this way. That's what we're after. So when we see God as in his forgiving nature, that's what we're trying to obtain, that forgiving nature, not to hold it against anybody. Whatever they have done, there's nothing in this world that has a value where we should not forgive somebody for. Because God said in the end, Peter said, all this is going to be burned up. There ain't going to be none of this left. So why would you risk your soul over something that's going to be destroyed? And we most of us live long enough to know already. Houses burn down. Tornadoes, hurricanes tear houses down, right? So if you're fighting over a house, don't fight over the house. Nature will take it out of the way. You got a car become rusty, don't it? Do we have a thing called junkyards? Yeah. So if you're fussing over the car go to the junkyard. Furniture go to the junk pile. There ain't nothing we have that we ought to fight and hurt one another over. Because all of this material stuff is going to go away. But the devil tells us, no, that's too valuable for you to let it go. And haven't you seen somebody hurt somebody over a material thing? I've seen people hurt each other over material things. But see, God is saying, I forgive. And there is nothing that can stand between me and you when I forgive you. We're together. When I forgive you, we're one. And that's why I appreciate when Brother Robinson always say, I love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't do enough hate to me to make me stop loving you. Because I understand the magnitude of what God has given me, and I ain't gonna let nobody take that from me. Because if I let somebody take my love for you away, then they're infringing, they're causing me to infringe upon what I promised God, to be faithful. See, that's what we promise God. We promise God to be faithful. We promise God to be perfect, because God ain't asked us to be perfect. He tells us to be mature. He tells us that word complete means to be mature. He tells us to be mature, but God is the one that perfects us. But He do ask us to be faithful, and that's the one thing that Paul was able to fulfill. Right? Paul said in the end in 2 Corinthians 4:7, Paul said, "I kept the faith." That's what he was charged with. He said, Paul said, "I've been faithful. I fought the good fight." He had to fight to keep that faith. And because he was able to fight and hold on to it, then let the devil take it from him, he was able to see the rewards of God. So God forgives. He has a forgiving nature. And Paul learned to not hold on to stuff. Paul had every reason to be mad with people. Look how they beat him. Look how they treated him. Paul said, like we're Americans. Now, how would you feel the popo come and just jump on you for no reason? Now, they got the authority behind them, Norris. And you in the truck with Leroy, and they drag Leroy and you start beating on him and tell you to stand over here. Don't you move. You're going to feel some kind of way. So he said, Leroy, take that weapon now. I'm going to film it off. We're going to turn it in. You take the beat and we're going to go 50-50. Yeah, if you live. And this is that's the way the apostles, they went through all of this stuff. And they still had to love people even though they beat them. Even though they put them in the prison houses, mistreated them, starved, shipwrecked, all the horrible things that happened to them. But they still had to love these same people. To love them, they had to forgive them. That's God's forgiving nature. And we're going to stop here tonight. So I appreciate everybody's participation with number 3, because number 3 to me was one of the biggest ones. Because to see how to forgive, it's hard. It's hard. When somebody has really crossed the line with you, it's hard. And yeah, we forgive at the time, but we don't forget. But over time, we start learning that the scar, that if we don't forgive, unforgiveness leaves a scar. Not forgetting leaves a scar. But when we let it go, God heals the scar. And we no longer remember it. It has no more meaning to us, you know. And that's where God tried to bring us to. And I think we could get there, but, you know, just like Class said, we got to learn to let go. It's hard to let go. But the Bible tells us, I could do all things through Christ who strengthened me. That we have to really believe that text. You know, I could do all things through Christ who strengthened me. So what is it, the things that you stand in need for tonight, that you need God's help to be able to do? Do you need healing? Do you need comfort? Do you need understanding? Do you need God's help working with you in the lives of the family members? Or where do you need God at so that we can pray to God and petition the throne of heaven? Well, I want everybody to, yes, Sister Jenny.
I'm asking for prayers for my family.
Okay, Annie?
I'm just asking for strength and patience, prayers for strength and patience.
Yeah.
Amen. Yes, Sister Dorothy. Yeah, okay. All right, Sister Sykes. Keep Sister Deborah Street in prayer. Sister Brenda. Gasky, Chandler, and Nelson families asking for prayers. Chandler family asking for prayers. Like I said, I'm asking constantly keep our elderly members in prayers. Sister Roberts, Brother Perry, Brother Gilbert, and there's got to be others that I just can't think of. We got Sister Jenny here, so she's already asked for prayers. Who else do we got senior? Jenny?
Just keep all these seniors in prayer.
Yeah, that's what I said. All of our senior members in your prayers and all our families, because, you know, the things are changing so rapidly. It's hard for us to keep a finger on what's going on in this world. It's just Sister Annette. Yeah, Sister Annette, and especially her mother. Yeah, send a prayer out to the Nelson family. Okay, well, we got Ice Brother Norris to close us out tonight. He's familiar with all the family. Okay, Brother Norris, take us out. Yeah, when he finishes the prayer, he's going to take us out to dinner. Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Lord, we come to you once again as humble as we possibly can. Lord, we thank you so much. I thank you for everything that you have done, everything that you are going to do. Lord, I thank you for allowing us, Lord, to walk in the light today.
Yes, Father.
Lord, we thank you so much because it could have been so many places and so many things that we could have been doing, Lord, that not your will.
Yes, Father.
But Lord, please help us to think about those, Lord, that need your help today.
Yes, Lord.
All the families and stuff that requested prayer, Lord, watch over them, Lord. Lord, put a hedge around them.
Yes, Father.
Lord, fix it, Lord. Comfort them. Lord.
Yes,
In
Father.
their times of need, Lord. It's so many of us, Lord. Bless our children, Lord.
Yes, Father.
Bless our friends. Bless the sick, the needy, the poor, the hungry, Lord. Just watch over, Lord, and these
Yes.
people up there in these storms, up and down the coasts and around
Yes,
the world
Father.
that are going through hardship. Lord, walk with us and guide us, Lord, in the way that we should go, Lord.
Yes, Father.
Lead us not into temptation, Lord.
Help
but
us, Father.
deliver us
Help us,
from
Father.
evil, Lord.
Yes, Father.
Lord, I like to thank you so much, Lord, for our entire church family, Lord.
Yes.
Bless us, strengthen us, Lord. Give us wisdom, give us knowledge, give us understanding.
Yes, Father.
Lord, and help us to grow together.
Yes, Father.
Lord, to put these things aside, Lord.
Yes, Father.
Things that are not warranted.
Yes, Father.
Lord, help us, Lord. Feed us the food that we need, Lord.
Yes, Father.
Help us, Lord. Guide us in the way that we should go, Lord. Be thankful, be
Yes.
happy, be mindful.
Yes, Father.
Lord, to see what we need, Lord. Ask somebody, Lord.
Yes.
A
Yes,
helping
Father.
hand or a nice word.
Yes, Father.
Lord, we thank you for all of those that are sick, Lord.
Yes, Father.
And under doctor care, Lord, and need your help today, Lord.
Yes, Father.
Watch over us, Lord, as we go to our destination, Lord. Just protect us, guide us, and lead us, Lord, in the way that we should go. Lord, and I thank you so much
Yes, Father.
in Jesus' name. And I like to add this at the end. Lord, let the words of my mouth, the
Yeah.
meditation of my heart,
Yes.